Hey guys, so the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for November 3rd, 2024. Going to do the final thoughts for the Week 9 NFL picks on the show. Before we get into that, let me just say for a second, as you can see here, I am flying solo tonight. I'm supposed to have a guest on, but he said he would come on, and he hasn't shown up, so maybe he fell asleep. So unfortunately, we'll have to go on solo. I'm feeling a little sick, so if I have to pause and cough for a little bit, I'll hit the mute button, but just bear with me. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. And we have a new shirt today. Well, first of all, I'm wearing the same shirt as from Thursday. And he said he thought I was wearing this shirt for a few days. It was actually the beginning of the cycle. Now we've reached the end. But as you can see on the screen here, it's basically two new shirts. I couldn't decide which one I liked more. This has to do with the garbage comment that Joe Biden had, where he called half the country garbage. So I made this shirt, "Make Garbage Great Again." I made this Muppet. I kind of made it different enough from Oscar the Grouch, so I won't get sued. Made him orange, obviously, and gave him Donald Trump's hair. There's make garbage great again. If you guys don't like that, the other slogan I had is garbage is great. I don't know if make garbage great again gave that a negative connotation. I couldn't tell. I don't know. I thought make garbage great again was better, but some people may not like it. Plus, there's enough room on here to get my logo on the garbage is great shirt. So you guys can order those or any of the other shirts. I think we have a 20% off sale. We had 25% off last week. Now it's 20% off. I'm sure there might be other sales, but still 20% off is pretty good. Like $16 to $18 for or even $19 for a high quality shirt. I think it's pretty good. Also, super chat, super stickers would be awesome. Slew and John Sanders, you guys have been so great with your contributions. Also in the past, Can't Make an Eagle, Andrew Z, Germ, Degeneron, Kevin Kovac, Cassandra. You guys have been so awesome, but Slew and John Sanders primarily, you guys have been so helpful with your contributions. It's just can't say that enough. And we make nothing on YouTube ads, so any further help would be really appreciated. Also, you can go to Amazon, buy my books, Jerks of the College Years, where I make fun of people I saw at Penn State long ago and how the 2020 MVP was stolen. I may have to write a sequel to this book in 2024. So not that Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP. Well, I don't have to be someone else. Krausley says, Walt, my favorite Patriot, how's the vibe in PA? Can we win it? So this is anecdotal. I think I said this on Thursday. I'm not sure. Maybe I said it after the show. But so I've been, driving around, picking my son up from daycare, picking my kids up from my wife's work. She also works in a daycare, just a different one. Going to the gym, going to my parents' house, etc. I've been driving around. Every time I drive around, I look at Trump or Harris signs. I try to count them up. And my rule is I have two rules. First, if there's a house with 4 Trump signs, I only count it as one. If there's a house with 3 Harris signs, I only count it as one. The second rule is if I see a sign for someone else, for McCormick versus Casey, which is the race for the Senate seat, I don't count those. And just Trump, just Harris. The past 5 or so days, I've seen 26 Harris signs and I've seen 75 Trump signs. And I live in Bucks County, which is a key district for Trump. Biden won it last election by 4 points, 51 to 47. So I think it's looking good for Trump. Everyone here is most people are pro-Trump. And again, anecdotal. My parents, the next door neighbors, and the people across the street, they have been diehard Democrats. In fact, they've worked for the Democratic Party on occasion. They now have Trump signs on their lawns. So I don't know why. I asked my mom why are they pro-Trump suddenly? She hasn't spoken to them, unfortunately, but I am curious. So I do think the tide's turning here. Now the crap cities like Philly, Pittsburgh, they're obviously going to go to Harris, but I think the suburbs, which Trump lost last time, I think they might be going to Trump this time. So I think we will win it. Kenny thinks we will win the popular vote, so that's a good sign. I trust Kenny's judgment, and so we'll have an election show Tuesday night. So we'll see. Hopefully we get good news. And if we don't, we're in for just a tough times here. World War III, horrible, economy. Like if you thought gas prices were bad 4 years ago, you're in for a treat here. So, and plus the inflation is gonna be awful. So, hopefully we get good news. Lion King says Lions versus Green Bay. Lions trample Green Bay on the ground over 200 yards. I do like Gibbs. I almost wrote up Gibbs for my player prop, but wasn't sure. Like it's not on turf, and Montgomery might be healthier, so I wasn't sure. But I do like the line. I think the Lions will win. We'll get to that in a little bit. That Iowa poll by Seltzer flipped the betting market to Harris. I mean, I don't know why people listen to polls. Like you can't find Republicans in these polls. So, and Iowa, who cares about Iowa anyway? Like, what's the matter? I don't get it. Like the betting market's stupid anyway. Like last election, Trump was like a minus 300 favorite after he took Florida. Like that betting market doesn't mean anything. It's just people betting. And if it's people following the polls, like polls don't matter because they're always wrong. So half the time, like the pollsters don't even ask people, like they just make stuff up. So I wouldn't trust that at all. So because it's deadly accurate in 2016, 2020. What's accurate is the Gallup poll. The two questions, number one, what is the biggest problem in the U.S., and two, which party do you trust to fix it? It's been 100% hit rate ever since they started in 1948. And in 2020, the biggest issue was COVID, and Democrats were the trusted party to fix it for some reason, even though the governors killed thousands of old people. In 2024, the biggest issue is the economy, and the Republicans are trusted to fix it. So I'm pretty confident that Trump's going to win. I don't know about this poll. I don't trust polls at all. Maybe they got lucky twice. I don't lightning not to strike three times. So let's get into the games here. And I did send a link to my projected co-host tonight. So hopefully he joins in. I haven't got a text from him. I really think he fell asleep. So he has two kids like I do, both under 3. Actually, his son might have just turned 3. So yeah, I can imagine that he's tired. So I won't take offense to it. He was excited to be on the show, so I was kind of surprised he didn't answer. But like I said, he might be asleep. Anyway, we have Patriots and Titans. This line dropped to 3 because Drake May is playing, and that makes me like Tennessee more. So first of all, Drake May is coming off a concussion. Quarterbacks coming off concussions. Tracked this back to 2021. They've gone 4-12 against the spread. You just can't tell if these guys are ready to play. It was a week since he suffered its first concussion in the NFL. I don't think that Drake May is going to play, especially coming off that upset win against the Jets. I think the Jets were just not focused looking to Thursday, and the Patriots caught him by surprise. I think that was the Jets Super Bowl. Although Andy disagreed on Thursday, but I still think the Patriots are going to be a little bit flat, and the Titans are the better team. The Titans destroyed a Miami team that's similar to this Patriots team, without Tua, but still, I think they're pretty similar without Tua. I like Tennessee at -3, and this is getting the most sharp money now than any other game on the slate. Actually, let me double check that. That was the case a few hours ago. Yes, it's still the case. By far, Tennessee by far is getting the most sharp money than any other team this week. So I like Tennessee at -3. I'm going to lock this in actually after the show because I don't want to risk it going to 3.5 because 3.5 is the worst spread you can bet at football. Let's see. Called every election since 2000. I don't know. I don't like what's the Iowa poll mattered? I don't think it matters. So Trump plus 18 in June, Biden plus 7 against Harris a month ago. It's a fake poll. I don't trust these polls. I see Trump around -35, but it was -200 yesterday or the day before. Let me look because on Thursday we actually read it. It was Trump was -170 when we looked at it at the very end of the show. Right now, on Bookmaker, same book. So Trump has fallen to -128. So he's still the favorite. Trump is -128. Harris is +106. Any other is plus 107,000. So I don't, and that's party. That's party too. So if the Libertarian or Green Party take it, then you bet a dollar, you win 100. You win $1,000. You could bet $10 to win 10 grand. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can do it if you want. All right, so Trump's minus 120. Yeah. What's this poll? Yeah, I don't. It's just, the markets care about stupid stuff. Like that's what people are. I think people were, making a reason or trying to come up with a reason to take Harris because, like, I actually think it's a good move. It was a good move to take Harris at like plus 150 because there's a chance that Trump could be an underdog. And so if you have Harris as an underdog, you just bet the same amount as Trump as an underdog, and then you're going to win no matter what. Like I think that's the best strategy. Even though I do think Trump's going to win. Smash shift, yeah. Stevenson over 14.5 carries. They want to limit May, his first game back. I can see it, but they fall behind. In a negative game script, he's not going to get a lot of carries. So the Titans special teams can crush your play. Nobody does it worse. That's true. That's the one thing we have to worry about. You're right. I don't think the Patriots have good special teams though, so maybe it won't that won't matter too much this week. So all right, let's get to the next game. I didn't have a player prop for this game. I would have liked Tony Pollard. Actually, like the Stevenson prop was brought up. I actually like the other side running, but we don't know if Pollard's going to play yet. If it's Chestnut, I like Chestnut. I just don't think we're going to get any props for Chestnut. But I would play him in DraftKings. He's only 4,000 on DraftKings, the minimum for running back. Chargers at the Browns. This line moved to 1 because Denzel Ward's going to play, which is kind of a bummer. I thought he'd be out, but I still like the Chargers quite a bit. I might drop it to 3 units with Ward in, but I still like the Chargers a lot. I think they're the better team. The Browns are coming off their Super Bowl win against the Ravens, and this is actually a plus for Harbaugh being in an early start time at 1 o'clock. Actually, I'll probably keep the 4 units. I feel like the Chargers were in a similar spot. A few weeks ago, they played at Denver. Denver, they crushed Denver. I know the result was like 6 or 7, but they were up 23-0. And I feel like Denver is better than the Browns. So Denver's like a slightly better version of the Browns. Like they both have a good defense, although the Browns are going to be missing JOK. Like offensively, they are mostly limited. But at least like Denver has a mobile quarterback. So I do like the Chargers here. I like that the line is dropped to 1. And so basically we need to win the game to cover. Any win is a push or a cover for us. So I like the Chargers here. For player props, I have David Njoku over receiving yards is 51.5 on FanDuel. The Chargers, they're pretty good defensively. The one weakness they have is covering the middle of the field, and Njoku is basically the number 1 receiver on the Browns. I know Cedric Tillman's played well, but I mean, let's face it, Njoku is like so talented, and so now that Deshaun Watson's out, they have a good quarterback, or not an upgraded quarterback to target Njoku. So I like Njoku here. Favorite DFS stack tomorrow. So I'm playing. I'm doing the 3 max. My 3 stacks are Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton because Baltimore's pass defense is so bad. I'm doing Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb because I think there's going to be a lot of garbage time in that game. Plus Atlanta's defense is bad. And then I'm going to price up with Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown and Grant Calcaterra. Calcaterra is basically in, I think, on all 3 of my lineups, I think, or at least 2 of them, because he's so cheap and Jacksonville's bad against tight ends. So it's like, I'd rather pay up for the running backs this week. The running backs look great. Like Devon Achane looks awesome. James Cook looks great. Bijan, great matchup. Kyron Williams, fantastic matchup. Like there's so many good running back plays. Jahmyr Gibbs. You can play so many of them. Saquon Barkley, I haven't even talked about him. I want to pay up for these running backs, so that means like going cheap at tight end, going cheap at one of the receiver spots with Jalen Coker. And if you go cheap stack, then you can play like 3 really talented running backs. So I like that plan. Let's see, Chubb over 13.5 carries. If they fall behind though, I think that's the only issue. But I could see that maybe. He's going to get more of a workload as it goes on. I like the boring efficiency of the Chargers over the drama of the Browns. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Sutton, wow. Why Sutton? He had 100 receiving yards last week. Cortland Sutton's he is a great matchup. Baltimore can't stop anything in the pass. You have little Jordan Humphrey? I'd be careful with him. They seem to rotate their slot guys. Like one week is Little Jordan Humphrey, the next week is Devon Bailey. Like I just don't know which one they're going to play. It could be Humphrey. I don't know. If you feel confident in it, don't let me talk you out of it. But I didn't get to him. Anytime touchdowns at 6-1. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, if he's the guy this week over Bailey, then that could hit. I just don't know which one it's going to be because they keep rotating them. So I don't know what Sean Payton's doing there. Um, anyway, let's get to the next one. So we have Saints and Panthers. We finally have clarity on the quarterbacks. It's going to be Bryce Young for the Panthers, Derek Carr for the Saints. We don't know if Derek Carr's going to be healthy, though. He's coming off the oblique injury. And as I wrote it up on the picks page, that one doctor on Twitter, at least I think he's a doctor. That's what he claims to be. He's 123,000 followers. So I took his word as gospel, I guess. But he said that quarterbacks coming off oblique injuries tend to struggle on deep throws. So like that could hurt the Saints. Like I don't want to play an injured quarterback. There's so many sides I like this week. Like I feel like I don't have to force Saints -7. It might even be 7.5 now. Let me check, but I don't think I can get to the Saints here. Not that I want to play the Panthers though. Yeah, it's still 7. Like it usually does. It usually works to fade Derek Carr as a road favorite like this, but that requires taking the Panthers, who are just their defense is historically bad, and they're starting Bryce Young. If they're starting Andy Dalton, I think I would have a little interest in the Panthers. But I still don't know if I could get there. Like maybe for a unit or something, but not with Bryce Young. I don't want to play Bryce Young. Like I said, Jalen Coker is the guy I like here. Prop wise, though, I like Chris Olave. His number is 67.5, and I just said that Derek Carr might have issues throwing deep, but I still think Olave is going to get there because the Panthers are so bad at defending outside receivers. Like I said, they have a historically bad defense. Like they're not even close to like the 31st ranked defense. Like it's pretty crazy. Like if you look at the EPA numbers, like the number one defense, they're -1.8 like yards per play. The 31st ranked defense is 1.8. So the range from 1 to 31 is -1.8 to 1.8, right? The Panthers are 32nd. Their YPA is 3.6. So they're 2 times as bad as the 31st defense. Like the difference between 31 and 32 is the same as 1 to 31. So their defense makes the 31st ranked defense look like the number 1 defense in the NFL. Like that's how bad they are defensively. Like I haven't seen a defense this bad in a long time. So this is not a team I want to back at all. Again, like if they had a slightly better defense with Dalton, I would love them here, but I can't get there. Baron says have to take a bad team this week. Would you rather go Saints or Titans in Survivor? Saints, they're 7-point favorites. Titans only 3. Like the Titans are a bad team. I don't think the Saints are a bad team now that they have their car back. I don't think they're a good team, but they did get some guys back from injury last week. They got in addition to their car this week, they got 2 offensive linemen. They got Pete Warner's good linebacker. They got Chris Olave. They got Taysom Hill. They were in shambles in that Thursday night game, but they were better last week, even though they still lost. Yeah, and I think that speaks to how good the Chargers were, that they just shut them down. But with Derek Carr back, I think they are at least like subpar, whereas the Titans are a bad team for sure. I'd rather go Saints. Matthieson, I agree with you. Next game is we have Dolphins at the Bills. This line has been sitting at 6 all week, and it finally moved to 6.5. I guess the Sharps just maybe they're waiting for the line to move to 5.5 so they could jump on it. That's my guess. But it looks like there might have been some sharp movement to 6.5, or maybe it's the sportsbooks moving to 6.5 so they can get some sharp money in Miami. I don't know. I can't really tell what's going on there, but I do like the Bills a little bit for a couple units. Looks like Terrell Bernard is going to play. He wasn't on the final injury report, so that's good news. My prop here is Devon Achane receiving yards. So his receiving yards prop is 33.5. In 3 games with Tua, he's gotten 76, 69, and 50. Like that's not even close to 33.5. And the Bills are weak to pass catching running backs. So I like Devon Achane a lot here. Actually, I like both running backs here. I think you can play them both together in DFS. But generally, you don't want to play both running backs from the same game in DFS because one team, like both teams can't be leading. Like I guess it could be like a back and forth, but generally you want a running back on a team that's going to be ahead 10 to 17 points so they get all the carries. But the difference here is that they're both pass catching running backs, especially Achane. So if the Bills are ahead, like Achane's still going to get a lot of dump offs. So I think you could definitely play both. I have both in one of my lineups. Let's see, but you don't have to take a bad team this week. You have options. Well, it depends who he has. Panthers defense, like a first-year expansion team, maybe even worse. Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. It's like I don't know how they're so bad. I know they've had injuries. Like, first of all, they traded Brian Burns. They lost Derek Brown. DJ Wanham has been out. I actually think Wanham is going to come back this week, but he may not be healthy. They lost some other players. Who they lose? I have this written down. So defensively, yeah, Derek Brown has been out. DJ Wanham, Josie Jewell missed a few games. He's going to come back. Jordan Fuller, one of their safeties, is going to still be out. So I guess like they haven't had that many injuries, but still like they've had a few injuries on defense. So Derek Brown, that's like the most prominent one. Let's see. Bills are minus 5.5 on FanDuel. That's crazy because they're 6.5 everyone else. Let me check. Maybe it's like sometimes like some locations have different lines for some reason. Yeah, 5.5 minus 120. That's pretty nuts. I might lock that one in because 6 is such a key number. Not that like I wouldn't want to pay for a minus 20 for 6, but we're talking like the line's at 6.5, so like you're paying $1.20 or you're paying 10 cents extra to go from 6.5 to 5.5, which I think is pretty good. So thanks for heads up, John. That's a pretty good line. All right, so I talked about the Dolphins and Bills, Cowboys and Falcons. This line's moved to 3 because Micah Parsons is out, and also Trevon Diggs probably going to be out. He was DNP all week, and Deron Bland's out too. So this team has cluster injuries at corner, and Parsons is out. Like, this Dallas defense is really bad. And they're not Panthers bad, but they're really bad. I think they're 30th or something in the NFL. So I don't see how they're going to stop the Falcons. Like I said, Bijan Robinson's going to have a great game, I think. I wouldn't really want to play Kirk Cousins in DFS because the Falcons could be up so big that they may not need to throw in the second half. And I like Dallas to stack here. Like I said, I was going to go with the Prescott stack because I think there could be a lot of garbage time. Like, we've seen it with Dallas in like almost every game they've been behind, except for the Detroit game where they just got walloped. But like, Atlanta's defense is not good. And so I think that like if they fall behind, Prescott could just have like a crazy statistical game throwing to CeeDee Lamb. The Falcons can't stop slot receivers either. So I like Lamb quite a bit this week. And Lamb comes in with my player pop over 82.5 receiving yards for Lamb. He had 70 targets last week. So I think he's going to he could exceed that. And, against this defense, the secondary that can't stop anything, I like him quite a bit. Let's see. John says, no problem. We're all going to starve to death anyways after that Iowa poll. Yeah, well, if that Iowa poll is right, you're right. I mean, we are in for like a really rough 4 years. It's it's the old saying, like, weak men make hard times. And I thought the hard times had begun, starting at COVID, because these past 4 years were pretty bad, but maybe the hard times haven't started yet. If Kamala wins somehow, I don't know how the hell she could win, because like this administration, she's part of this administration, and they've starved the quarter of the country to death because like a quarter of the country is taking out loans to pay grocery bills. Like, it's like they won't be able to stop doing that. They won't be able to keep doing that. Like, and it's only going to get worse with their price gouging tactics. Like, that's insane. That like or price fixing. I mean, price fixing taxes. Like, we're not going to get food in the grocery store. World War III is going to start, so everything's going to be more expensive. They're going to have to print more money for the war. It's going to be really rough, and only because like what women want to kill their children, that's why they're voting for it. Like, it's so stupid, this whole thing. Yeah, we're in for a rough time if Kamala wins. You're right. So yeah, I need Kirko Chains to look at Zimmer and hit him with that. You like that? That'd be funny. So let's see. Dallas up 10-6 at half. McCarthy says we just need to stay the course. Like, they were down 20 sometimes. Yeah, that's Mike McCarthy for you. Trump wins Pennsylvania, should win the election. Yeah, there's like an avenue in where he doesn't. I think he's like 96% to win the election if he wins PA. So like there's a chance he doesn't. I stand with Kenny. I think he wins the popular vote. So I don't know. Like, the economy it's such bad shape. Like, how does he not win it? I don't see him. I don't see him losing the election. Barring like I think like the only way is like some crazy shadow campaign that we haven't seen yet. But like, they've already filed all these lawsuits. You have Scott Pressler like out there; he's made a huge difference. The fact that they have Laura Trump instead of what's her name, what's her the Utah Senator's daughter-in-law. I can't remember her name, but as the RNC chairman, I can't remember her name. It's just like I'm drawing a blank here, but anyway, like Laura Trump is just much better in her role, I think. So yeah. So John says 412 will buy you like 2 McDonald's hamburgers before the apocalypse. Yeah, it's so a cheeseburger is $2.69, right? So a hamburger was $2.39, I think. So yeah, it's pretty close. But I wonder how much it's going to be by the end of if Kamala wins, like by the end of her term in 2028. A McDonald's cheeseburger might be like $6 if we're lucky, or $7 if we're lucky, or maybe it's gonna be just $12. Maybe because my dentist said it's gonna be $12. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty real. So maybe my dentist was like a time traveler or something, and he's like he came from the future, or maybe he could like see into the future, and he had a dream that McDonald's had $12 cheeseburgers, and so like maybe that was it. So I don't know. I think he's on to something there potentially. So is Ron McDaniel? I think that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. Ron McDaniel, who I was thinking of. Anyway, I expect a lot of snafus election day to suppress the Republican vote. Arizona showed the way on how to do it. Yeah, I love how they misprinted the ballot papers that they wouldn't fit into the machines the last time in 2022, like during the midterms. Like just it's so dirty, But anyway, John, I forgot to say thank you so much for your contributions. Really appreciate it. Like you and Slew have been so awesome. But yeah, I will. That'll be close to buying the 2 cheeseburgers. America goes conservative on Tuesday, and Canada goes conservative in October. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope they kick out Trudeau because he's been so bad for them. Yeah, it's not necessarily conservative, but like because it's funny because like I don't see Trump as conservative. Like I feel he's pretty moderate. And he's got moderates on his team like RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. I don't see them as conservatives either. Like I think it's more populist. Like Trump is the populist candidate, whereas Kamala is the globalist puppet, the candidate. Like Kamala's not going to really do much. Like it's going to be the globalists cabal behind her that does everything. Like they're going to be calling all the shots. They're going to get us into World War III. Like she's going to do some things, but she's not going to be in charge. Like we know who's going to be in charge. Like if she gets into office, which is just which we don't want. Like you don't want the globalist cabal in there. Canada's conservatives are basically Americans that are Democrats. It's true. All right. So anyway, so I like Atlanta here, but for a couple units, I wouldn't go above 3 though. It's moved from 2.5 to 3. If it's 3.5, I wouldn't bet Atlanta. All right, so we have Denver, Baltimore. This is my top play. Unfortunately, we locked this in on Thursday night because Lamar Jackson missed the 2 practices. I thought there was a chance that he may not play. If he missed practice Friday, this line would have plummeted. It would have gone below 6, I think. And then if he was announced out, I think we'd see 3.5 or 3. So I wanted to get it in at 8, and so Jackson's going to play. This line moved up to 9.5, but 9.5, 9 is such a dead number now. In before this game lands on 9, 23-14, but I 9 is the least likely result to hit from 1 to 11. So I'm not really concerned about it. So either way, I think Denver could win this one outright. So I'm pretty confident in this game still. So Cortland Sutton over 48.5 receiving yards. I said I like him in DFS. I think he has a good game here. Like we just saw what Cedric Tillman did to Baltimore. So I like Sutton for the same reason. Let's see. All right, next game is the Raiders at the Bengals. And it's the same thing. So the Bengals and the Ravens will both be looking ahead to Thursday night. Someone I wouldn't play in DFS, by the way, is Chase Brown. He's projected to be the highest owned running back on the slate because Zach Moss is out. Zach Moss, we had him for the prop here, but he got ruled out. So we'll be getting our money back, which is a shame because I like Zach Moss here. The Raiders are bad at defending receiving running backs. So everyone loves Chase Brown because Zach Moss is out. But the problem is that the Bengals play in 4 days. And so they're not going to run the running back into the ground. Now, he can still score a couple touchdowns. Like, he can still get there. I'm not saying that, like, he's not a bad play matchup-wise, but the problem is, like, he's not going to get all the workload. I think, like, Chase Brown under carries, rushing attempts or whatever, that would be the way to go now that Zach Moss is out. Because, like, by the way, let me see if I can find this. I wrote down the number of carries each starting running back had ahead of their Thursday games. And so this includes, like Breece Hall from last week. So this is starting week 1, which had James Cook going into Thursday and Devon Achane heading into Thursday. So these are the number of carries each starting running back had in their game prior to Thursday. So 19, 10, 14, we had a 21, 16, 8, 10, 7, 14, 5, 6, 13, we had a 21, 14, a 25, which I think was who was that? That was that was Joe Mixon, and then 16. So we've only had 320 plus carries, and we had 4 sub 10s. In fact, we had 6 10 or less, or 10 or fewer. These are starting running backs. These are not like RB2s or something. Like these are your Devon Achanes, your who else plays on Thursday? Aaron Joneses, like all these are Kyron Williamses, your Javonte Williamses, your Alvin Kamara's. Like these are the starting running backs in these teams, and they're not getting that many carries. Now there are exceptions, sure, but it doesn't happen very often that they really go above or 20 and above. So I like Chase Brown's under carries in this game. I don't know what it is, assuming it's not that low. Like maybe they did price it low because they know something. But and for the same reason, I like Derrick Henry under carries. I think it's like 18.5. So just watch out for that. Would you start Brian Robinson or Chase Brown PPR? I'd start Robinson for sure because he's going to get more of a workload. And the Giants are so bad against the run. Which team is surprising more, Broncos or Redskins? I think the Redskins. I don't think the Broncos are that good. I don't think they're bad or anything. I mean, their defense is good, so that's not a surprise. I think Bo Nix's play has been a bit of a surprise, but again, like I think that their results are a little fluky, and I think they're going to fall back down to earth soon, like maybe next week against the Chiefs. But I do like them this week. As far as the Redskins, though, so I'm not surprised by Jane Daniels. Like I did think he was going to be great, but maybe not that so much right away. But the big surprise for the Redskins is their defense. Like their defense is, I think it's ranked 7th in EPA. Let me check. Their defense is 4th. That's 4th in EPA. Like they have the 4th ranked defense in the NFL. Like everyone thought this defense was going to suck, including me. I thought this defense was going to be awful, especially against the pass. And like they're so good. Like Dan Quinn has done such a great job with this defense. Like it's amazing. So that is the biggest surprise to me is that Washington. Like I thought they could be a playoff team. But like the fact that they're 6-2 and they're favored to win, I think they're favored to win the division, or at least they're close. I think that's so impressive. Like that's much more of a surprise. All right. So anyway, I do like the Raiders here. I think they could win outright. The Bengals. I've talked about how much I despise the Bengals right now. They're 3-5. People think they're good. I don't know. People I respect think they're good. I don't get it. Like outside of throwing to Chase and Higgins is not playing, by the way. Like, what do they do well? Like, they can't run the ball. They can't block. They can't stop the run. They can't get to the quarterback. They can't stop the pass. And their coach does stupid things. Like, I guess they can kick field goals to McPherson. Like his team just is not good. I think they're going to get smoked next week against the Ravens. But, yeah, this week I think they might win by 3. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders won outright. Anyway, the early games, so Redskins, Giants. The Redskins were on my super contest card. Because they're 3.5, not because, but they're 3.5 in the super contest. So I took that. It's like slight value here. But I just think the Giants are one of these crap teams that you should fade every week. We have like the Panthers. And unfortunately, we can't fade them this week because the Saints are like they're favored by too many points. And like, we don't know, like the main problem with the Saints is we don't know if Carr's going to be healthy. And I don't want to back an injured quarterback. So the Panthers are on that list. The Titans are on that list, but the Patriots are on that list too. So two horrible teams playing against each other. So that's unfortunate. I think the Raiders are on that list, but the Raiders, they're playing the Bengals, who are not good either. So, I mean, my stipulation was last week that we're going to fade all these bad teams, these I should say horrible teams, unless they're playing other bad teams. And so you can take the Raiders against the Bengals. But here is the exception. The Giants are one of these teams, I think, especially with Andrew Thomas out. Like, their defense sucks and they can't block, and Daniel Jones is terrible. Like, the only thing they have going for them is Malik Neighbors and I guess Tyron Tracy. But it's like now there's no blocking to get Neighbors the ball. So it seems just awful. And so I think this line is a complete misprice. I respect Andy Isco. He said that he thought this line is correct on Thursday. I really don't, because if you move this like 2 points even from 4 to 6 to neutral, I don't think the Giants deserve any points for being at home. They're 1-3 against the spread at home this year, like 0-4 straight up, I think. I think that's correct. Let me see. Who have the Giants played? So they got destroyed by the Vikings at home. Then they lost to the Cowboys at home by 5. They lost to the Bengals at home 17-7. And then they got blown out by the Eagles at home. Yeah, so they haven't won at home yet. And their only cover was like by 1 point against Dallas, so like a bad Dallas team. So so I think they deserve 0 points for being at home. So you move this to Washington, like you have Redskins by 6. And so that's the same line we had as Monday night. Like, the Redskins are definitely better than the Steelers. So like, I think this line should be like 10. No, sorry. The Giants at Redskins should be like 10. So this line should be like 8 or something. So I just think this is a misprice. If Andrew Thomas were playing, it'd be different, but he's not. He's out and they can't block. So the Redskins get after the quarterback pretty well, and so I think it's gonna be pretty rough for them. The Redskins are last year's Texans. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. We thought the Texans were going to be bad last year, and then they made the playoffs to get to the second round. So it's probably where the Redskins get this year. It's like the second round. So yeah, it's a good comparison. All right, let's get to the late games here. So we have Bears at the Cardinals. I did a 180 on this game. I initially liked the Bears just because the Cardinals are coming off an upset win. But the more I think about it, like when the Cardinals have struggled coming off upset wins, generally they've been a bad team. But it's like, just look at all the teams they played so far this year. Like, they've gone through a tough schedule, and the fact that they're 4-4 is, I think, it's pretty impressive. Now, I'm not a fan of their defense, but like they've talked about being buyers at the trade deadline. I think if they win this week, I think they're going to go after an edge rusher in the trade deadline. So just something to look out for there. So I like Arizona a little bit here. I'm not in love with this, but I will say that there was a syndicate that bet Arizona heavily. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Bears went from like -1.5 to +1.5, like midway through the week, I think on Wednesday. That was a syndicate betting Arizona heavily. And I think they did that because the Bears are going to be missing some offensive linemen. So, or maybe it's one of the reasons. I don't know. It's my best guess. But and by the way, Montez Sweat was downgraded to DMP in Friday's practice, so he could be out. So something to watch out for as well. Like Arizona for a couple units, and I am betting. I'm betting Cole Kmet's over receiving yards. I think it's 26.5 or 28.5. The Bears or the Cardinals are pretty weak to tight ends. You might remember a couple weeks ago when Will Dissly went nuts. Tucker Kraft went over last week. I think Cole Kmet should get there. Kmet didn't do anything last week, so this could be like a squeaky wheel situation. I think the coach even said, if I remember correctly, I think the coach said that they wanted to get him more involved. So I like that as well. The Bears are terrible and overrated. Well, yeah, they could be both. So yeah, if like people think they're good, but they're actually terrible, then yeah, they could be terrible and overrated. I think the Bears defense is good. Like, I don't think they're terrible. I do think that I think they're a solid team. I don't think they're that good, but I think they're okay. I mean, their defense is good. Like, they can't really block. That's a problem. But they have a lot of weapons. Caleb Williams is pretty raw, though. Like, we'll see. Like, maybe he gets better in the second half of the year. DJ Moore is also due. I can see DJ Moore doing well, too. So next game, we have Jaguars at Eagles. This line moved to 7.5. I like the Eagles here. The only concern I have is, like, they have Dallas on a look ahead, but I think they'll show up because I think the real look ahead for the Eagles is going to be next week. Like, even though it's Dallas, like they're going to play Washington on Thursday night in Week 11. So that could be a dangerous look ahead for both the Eagles and the Redskins. But here the Jaguars are going to be down 2 offensive linemen, including Cam Robinson, who they traded. Their defense sucks, and the receivers might all be out. Like, we'll see if Brian Thomas plays. He's questionable. He was limited in practice, so like he could play. But I don't know if he's going to play. So like that's something to watch out for in the inactives list. So we're gonna have updates at like 3:00, 3:30 ish. So definitely check back then, because we're gonna have more information. So if like Thomas is out, I don't know how the Jaguars are gonna move the ball at all. The Eagles defense has been so good lately. So yeah, I do like the Eagles stack here. As I said earlier, Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown. I think that they could definitely get there. Nice call in South Carolina. What a shady line that was. Yeah, thanks, Sandra. That was a nice one. Unfortunately, Clemson kind of ruined our evening for us. They were 10-point favorites. They lost 33-21. So we went 3-2 this week. So not bad. I'll take 3-2 every week, yeah, that Clemson that kind of like left a bad taste in my mouth there. That was actually Andy's top play as well. So I was pretty excited about it that we both had it. They just were a no-show. That was so disappointing. So yeah, South Carolina was nice to see them win. My no player prop here because I actually wanted to get on Grant Calcaterra. Jaguars are awful against tight ends, so I like him, but I couldn't find anything on him outside of touchdowns. So we'll see about that. Maybe we'll find something Sunday morning. I'm not sure. We have Rams and Seahawks. So there are 2 injury question marks here. One was DK Metcalf. We know that he's out. The other one's Puka Nacua. We don't know about him yet. It's another injury question mark heading into the late afternoon slate. So again, like 3:30 ish probably for this game, maybe 3:40. I'll have something on the site. If Nakua's in, I think I'm going to be betting the Rams. If he's out, I probably will stay away from this game. I don't like Seattle at all. Their defense is so bad. Geno Smith's not that good in the rain, and it is projected to rain. There's a chance to rain, 53 degrees, light wind. But like Geno Smith's had such severe issues in the rain, like holding onto the ball, and he won't have Metcalf. Like it's gonna be a tough spot for Seattle here. The Rams have dominated them, but if Nakua's out, like that just really drains their whole team because like their whole offense is based on those 2 receivers. And if one of them's out, and like Cooper Kupp may not be 100% either, so. Yeah, that's something that we'll have to find out on Sunday afternoon. No player prop bets because of the injury question marks the receiver. Like we just don't know where to go with this game. Last late afternoon game, so like we're waiting on injury here too with Jordan Love. Sounds like he's going to play, and I think that's a big mistake. It's the second time this year he's come back for a divisional game early, coming off an injury, and I think that's going to cost him. He's dealing with a groin. It's going to be a wet field. Like I think it's just a huge mistake to risk him here against a good Lions team. And I know it's like a big game, but like the fact that he's come back early, I think it's going to hurt Green Bay. So I like Detroit. I don't love Detroit though because the conditions are going to be pretty bad. It's going to be very rainy. It's going to be like 14-mile-an-hour winds. And so Jared Goff has historically done very poorly in these situations. But I think the Lions can lean on the running game quite a bit because the Packers are not good against the run. They're actually like a run funnel. They're pretty good against the pass. So I like Detroit here. Don't love it. Probably be a couple units. If there was nice weather, I would be all over Detroit. They'd probably be one of the top picks this week. But the rain is what's holding me back here a little bit. He said Rams win easily. Well, if Nakua is there, I could see that. If he's out though, I wonder. Chris? Do you still feel the same way if he's out? Because I think that's a pretty big injury. He plays QB in Seattle and he's bad in the rain. That's not good. Yeah, I know, right? You would think that a Seahawks starting quarterback would be good in the rain, but he's not. Like his splits in the rain are pretty bad somehow, which is very strange. All right, so again, no player prop in this game because first of all, we didn't know about Love and him being out, him being like playing injured. Like I might be an anti-Jordan Love. Like I might bet Jordan Love interception here. Rain plus injury, that seems like pretty good. So I'll look into that, but nothing else really because Montgomery has been a little limited with the knee injury he suffered against Minnesota, but now a couple weeks later, after that injury, I think like he could be at full strength now. So you just never know which Detroit running back is going to go off, which like makes it tough to handicap. But I think if you could like find a prop that's like Gibbs plus Montgomery rushing yards, I would take it. I just haven't like seen anything like that. All right, so we have Sunday night Vikings Colts. I love the Colts here. Colts play nothing but close games, and you have a quarterback change, which I am usually bullish on. And so I like the Colts here. Joe Flacco is such a better matchup for him than Anthony Richardson, who's just awful against the blitz. Like if Richardson were playing, I would be on the Vikings just because that's how bad he is against the blitz. His completion percentage against the blitz is like 29%, whereas Flacco is like a normal 50-something%. So he's going to be a lot better. And I mentioned this on Twitter. Someone's hammering Josh Downs over receiving yardage. In like a matter of seconds, it went from like 61.5 to 63.5, and then right away to 64.5. And that moved on BetMGM, and on FanDuel, I was actually entering my parlay into FanDuel, and it was 63.5, and like the odds changed. I'm like, what happened? And the yards moved to 66.5. I'm like, wow, like what the hell? It just moved 3 yards out of nowhere. So I love Josh Downs here. Vikings are pass funnel defense. And Downs is the number 1 receiver with Pittman banged up. Like Pittman's dealing with a back injury. And Downs has outplayed him this year. Like he's been so electric out of the slot. He's just so good there. And Minnesota is going to be weaker in the middle of the field because they're missing Blake Cashman. So it just feels like a great matchup for Downs. So I have his over receiving yardage, even though it's gone up. And yeah, I think the Colts could win this one outright. So pretty excited about this game. Bucks Chiefs. I actually did not look at the final injury report here yet. I was going to do it at some point tonight, so I might as well pull it up now so we can all look at it together. Let's see here. Let me load it up. Okay. All right. So we have Evan Decker. Their long snappers out. It's a big deal. Mike Evans is suspected out. Greg Gaines, not really a player. Bucky Irving, DMP limited. It's like you don't really want to see. I actually like Rachaad White and in DFS in the showdown here because he can catch a lot of passes. It's like the Bucks have no real wide receivers left, and so like Mayfield has to throw to White a lot more. So I like that. Even though like it's a tough matchup for running backs, which is why I wouldn't play Irving. But Rachaad White's going to catch like between 5 and 7 passes, so I like that. Sterling Shepard is DMP limited. Tyke Smith is back, and also Antoine Winfield, I heard is going to play. He's questionable, but I saw that he should be ready for this game. And Levante David, he was okay. So he was DMP then full. So that's good news for the Buccaneers, I guess. Not that they're going to win this game, but I guess good news for them being competitive in this game. So nothing like crazy here. Like the fact that David's going to play is a big deal. By the way, Jalen McMillan got downgraded to questionable. He was full LP. You never want to see downgrades like this. Doesn't mean he's gonna be out, but yeah, we talk about how the receiving core is bad. You have Shepard, DMP limited, and you have Jalen McMillan getting downgraded. So this receiving core could be even worse than we thought. And so maybe like Raheem Jarrett's a good play at 2,000. I actually wrote him up even with these injuries, or with these players I thought were going to be active, but. Yeah, could be Raheem Jarrett night. But that's how bad they are. So for the Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster's out. With Hopkins there, that's no longer a huge deal. Michael Dana has been dealing with an injury. He's out. That's it. Oh, and Jared Wiley, the third string tight end or fourth string tight end, he's out. So not a big deal here. So nothing really for the Chiefs. So the Buccaneers look like they're in rough shape. I do think there could still be a backdoor cover here. Mayfield had a backdoor cover. He almost had a backdoor cover last week, and then the week before he almost got it too against the Ravens. Even though Godwin was on the field until the final drive, so I still would side with the Buccaneers, but I'm not in love with it. So I will have, of course, player prop bet, same game parlay on Monday afternoon. I would think right now I'd be leaning toward like Kate Otten, just because, like I said, Mayfield doesn't really have anyone to throw to, and the Chiefs have been weak to tight ends. So I think Kate Otten could go off, but then again, like the number could be pretty high. I haven't looked at what the number is. I do like Kelsey. Tampa also bad against tight ends. We just saw Kyle Pitts go off last week. So Kelsey could have a big game. By that stretch, I guess Noah Gray could too, but I would play Kelsey. I would not like Hopkins. I think he's still learning the offense. Who else? Rashad. I mentioned Rashad White over receptions. I think that would be a good bet. And maybe Raheem Jarrett. We'll see. We'll see who plays for Tampa. I don't know if we'll get news on that, but yeah, I think Mayfield over receiving yards could be good because the Chiefs are so great against the run that they'll have to throw, and they're going to have to throw anyway because if they're behind in the second half, this could be a lot of garbage time. So I think my same parlay might be Rashad White over receptions, Mayfield over passing yards, Kelsey over receiving yards, and Otten over receiving yards. If I were to guess right now, but it could change. So check back on the site Monday afternoon for that. Let's see. I like Hopkins over 42.5 yards. I don't know. It's the second game. Like he doesn't know the offense yet. Like maybe like this is a situation. Yeah, I feel like you could be right because this could be a situation where they know that the Buccaneers are not going to be competitive. So like this is like a good game environment to kind of like experiment and get Hopkins going. So I think that could get there. So yeah, you might be onto something there. What else do we got here? So actually we have a few more comments at the top. So Mike says there's no way Harris wins Iowa. Just ignore the last minute propaganda. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna win Iowa. I'd be pretty crazy. This polling company is more accurate than Tom Brady in his prime. I don't know. I mean, so yeah, they could have been in the past, but like, do you know if they have new workers there? Like maybe they hired new workers. They're all DEI people, and like they do a crappy job. Like I don't know. I just I don't know if enough about this stuff. About these polls anyway. Chris says as long as one of the big receivers plays, they complement receivers in McVay's play calling. Be more than enough against Seattle. These teams are heading in opposite directions. Fair enough. Yeah, I just don't know if I could love the Rams enough to bet them if Nakua is out. But I think I still would be on the Rams if I had to. If it was just Cooper Kupp. Now if they're both out, then I think I'm in Seattle. Flacco loves Downs. Yeah, I love Downs too. Captain Seth Keschel is offering anyone on X a $10,000 wager that Harris does not hit that poll of Harris +3 or better in Iowa. Okay, interesting. That's yeah. If you want to take out $10,000 wager, the poll's disclaimer: past performance is not great future results. Yeah, death taxes and the freaking Iowa poll always nailing the results on an actual election. We'll see. I have my doubts. Yeah, I really don't see it. There's the first time for everything, and maybe they're going to be wrong for the first time. This says, what is Walt going to do with this extra hour our antiquated time system has given us? I don't know. I did want to catch up on From, the show that Kenny recommended. It's kind of like Lost. It has a Lost vibe. It's the same showrunners as Lost. So it feels like Lost. It feels a lot like Lost. It's a much darker version of Lost. Now, I will say that the character development is not as strong. The seasons are shorter. It's only 10 episodes instead of 26. So that has something to do with it. But I do like it a lot. I have not watched any of season 3 yet, so I might do that. I'm definitely not sleeping. The problem is, like, I can't really go to sleep because my wife has these alarms that just go off all the time. Like, starting at 5 o'clock, her alarms go off like every 5 minutes. It's so horrible. So, like, I could try to go to bed earlier than 5, but like I'll just be hit with these alarms, and I'll just wake up every 5 minutes with her. And so I usually just wait till she gets up at like 6. That's why it's part of the reason why I go to bed at 6, but I still have to do a lot of work. I would love to go to bed a little earlier. I don't see it happening. So maybe I do plan on working out tonight. I need a shower. I haven't showered since Thursday, I think. That's what happens when you have 2 kids under 3. So I'm gonna do that. But I was gonna do that anyway. I wanted to write a new Jerks of the Week article. I wrote one up on Halloween. My son did something funny. So we were trick or treating, and So like we passed by one of these houses that had like these animatronic. They had this like animatronic giant zombie, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat you," or he says something like that. And so my son is like not scared of anything. He like picks up actually, well, he's scared of one thing. He picks up this stick and he's like, "Don't say that." And he throws a stick at the stupid zombie thing. It's like I was cracking up because this 4-year-old cousin, like where I was walking with her too, she was like she hid behind her grandpa, who also was walking with us. And so my son is just like pissed off at this thing and just threw a stick at it. Um, and so I thought that was funny. My son, the one thing he was scared of, we entered this haunted house. He was walking through it just fine. But through like the midway point of the haunted house, they had this girl, like she looked like the girl from The Grudge or The Ring, whatever. She had like the black hair dripped over her face, and she was like shaking like this. And like my son just lost it. He's almost 3, and so he's like, "Daddy, Daddy, no, no!" He wanted to run back. The problem was like we were like log jammed. Like I couldn't turn around because I was also walking with my daughter in a carriage, not in a stroller. So I could not I physically could not turn around and get out of there. So I had to like pick him up and like shield his eyes and go through it. That was like the only thing he was scared of the whole night. But so I wrote that Jerks of the Week entry up, and I want to do another one because I need like 2 more, and then I'm fine through the regular season because I have now I'm through with Vegas. Vegas is done after this upcoming Monday, but I have a bunch of other ones. I've entries called Line Picker Man, Figs, Q. Stepping on Jace and or Ace, the pediatrician's appointment, the Wing Flinger 3000, the 2 zombie uncles, and then the first double Halloween, which is my son and my daughter. So I have 8 more Jerks of the Week entries left after this week. So this is week 9. That takes us to week 17. So actually, no, I need 1 more Jerks of the Week entry to go through the whole season. And I say the whole season because it's so hard to write Jerks of the Week entries because I'm doing all this football stuff. Like I barely have any time. When it's the off season, I'll have like a few nights where I'm not doing much work, so I can get a couple of Jerks of the Week entries done ahead of time. So that's why I try to get most of it done ahead of the season. But I didn't finish it completely. I think I had like 15 ahead of the season, and so I did write up 2. I wrote up the 2 zombie uncles and the first double Halloween. Recently, so and the double Halloween yesterday. So I need 1 more. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a Jerks of the Week entry. Again, I'd love to sleep, but it's just it's not possible with my wife's alarms going off all the time. It's just so annoying. All right, so really need advice on the trade. Sorry, keep waiting here. Weekend bacon. Really need a trace on advice on trade. Olave and Pollard for Cook and Ridley. I love Olave. I like Pollard, although he's out this week, so keep that in mind. Ridley, I feel like could do well going forward. So this is like running back receiver for running back receiver. Again, I don't like really get these trades because like both in the same position, and they're all 4 players are startable. So would I rather have Olave and Pollard or Cook and Ridley? If Pollard didn't have any injury concerns, like he's out this week, I would take the first 2. But like knowing that Pollard's banged up right now, I think I'd take Cook and Ridley. Although I do like Olave. I think Olave could have a huge second half. Then again, so could Ridley. So you guys, hey, John asked James Cook or Dalvin Cook. That's a good question. I guess I assume James Cook, but yeah, I don't know. It's pretty close. If you guys have any opinions on this, I think I'd rather have the healthy side, Cook and Ridley, even though, like I said, I think Olave could go nuts. But and I should say it should be noted that Cook is the only player. Oh no, never mind. I was about to say Cook is the only player here who hasn't had a bye, but Olave hasn't either. So that's even. So never mind. Yeah, I'd rather have Cook and Ridley, assuming it's James Cook, than the other side, only because Pollard's injured right now. Mike says Trump wins Iowa handily. That was just up to Walt to get out to Amish vote in his district. Then Trump wins PA too. There are no Amish people here. That's in like Lancaster, which is like an hour away. There are no Amish people here, unfortunately. I feel like Amish people would be cool. I've never met an Amish person in my life, actually. I think that's true. I don't think I have. No, I don't think I have. Yeah, so there's no Amish people near us. So one of my girlfriends used to live in Lancaster, which is I think it's Millersville. I think the school is called. That's like around Amish country, but I only visited her school once, so I never really saw the Amish. Um, and she was a little nuts anyway, so that didn't last too long. Um, but yeah, I do think Trump's going to win, and I think he's going to take PA. I think he's going to take Virginia and New Hampshire too. Steelers Super Bowl? No, I don't think so. Me with Russell Wilson, you think Russell Wilson's going to go to the Super Bowl? I don't see it. Um, yeah, I just don't see it. I really don't. I think they're like the Chiefs are a lot better. I think the Ravens are better. I think the Texans are better when they get Collins back, of course. Um, I think the Chargers are better. I know the Steelers beat the Chargers, but Herbert was injured, and I think the Bills are better. So those are a few teams, and I think the Jets, if they get their crap together, they could be better. They're so poorly coached, so maybe not. But I think they have more talent. I just don't know if the coaching staff can get them there. Um, yeah, and I think the Colts are better. The Colts beat the Steelers. I think the Colts with Flacco could be a better team. So something to keep in mind though is that the Steelers have such a tough schedule in the second half of the year. Now it's a little bit easier than we thought because the Bengals aren't as strong, but it's still a very difficult schedule. Although I should say this: the Chiefs may not play their starters week 17 if they're that far ahead of everyone. So that's something to keep in mind too, I guess. So maybe it's like it looks tough now, but it might not be. Anyway, that's enough stick throwing, kicking only if he's going to be an NFL punter. Yeah, I gotta get him on the punting. He's a little too young, so like my wife says he should go into soccer or gymnastics. So I'm like, I don't know about that. He's in swimming right now, which I used to do. I used to be a swimmer in high school and college. So maybe he's going to follow his dad's footsteps. But swimming's a rough sport. It's like I'm glad I did it. It's just like it's so much work, and like a lot of the time you're just swimming on your own. You're not talking to anyone, like unless like you're waiting for the next set or something. But it's a pretty lonely sport because like you just have your head submerged the whole time. Now I do like it a lot. Like I still swim like when I get to the gym, and I do like a lot of my best thinking when I'm swimming. So I'm glad I did it. Plus, it works everything. So yeah, it's okay. It's just again, it's just like pretty grinding. It's like a lot of good swimmers get burned out. Like I know a lot of swimmers like when I was a kid or young adult, like they had like almost Olympic aspirations and they just never completed their arc because they just got burned out. And it's such an easy sport to get burned out because like I said, it's just you have to do it all the time. They're like 2 days. You have to get up 5 a.m. to swim, and then you do it after school, and you don't get to talk to anyone most of the time. It's so difficult. I think you need to have like a tough mindset for it, and like a lot of people just don't. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to have right now. Like I do want both my kids to know how to swim. Obviously, it's a good thing they don't drown, so that's a good thing. And but I do want him to learn how to punt. I want to hire a punting coach when he's like 8 or 9, and then like maybe that's even too. I mean, like 10, and then like by high school, he's the high school punter, and then he gets a scholarship to punt at like a 1A school, so I don't have to pay for college. That'd be awesome. That's my goal. I hope it like works. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my daughter, but my son, if he gets a scholarship, I'll be pretty happy. Long snap, I don't think get concussions though. I worry about that. I don't want him to get concussions. Are you going to do a Jerks of the Week entry for Jacob for leaving the Tuesday show? No, I love Jacob too much. I couldn't do that to him. I like he had a good reason for leaving. It wasn't like he didn't want to do the show anymore, or at least I don't think he wanted to keep doing the show. I like the reason he had like was legit. Like he couldn't do the show anymore. So it's not like I have nothing against Jacob. I actually just talked to him on Thursday. He texted me and said he loved the Jets, and so actually it was like 2 hours before the game, so I couldn't relay it on the show. But he did say he loved the Jets, so I guess he's technically 1-0, although in hindsight this year. But there's a chance Jacob will return to the show at some point. I love having Evan on too. Like Evan's so insightful, and I think we have like growing chemistry, and like he's becoming like a friend. So I do like the show with Evan too. But I would love to have Jacob on again. If Evan becomes like a constant on Tuesday, which I would love, maybe in the future Jacob could do maybe he could do the Saturday show or something, but or Thursday, who knows? I don't know how long Andy could do it. Like I love it having Andy too, but I just don't know his schedule. But yeah, I mean, like Jacob had to take this year off. Like he just had to. So there's no jerks of the week candidates for Jacob. Nothing but love for Jacob here. Let's see, Iowa is like Wisconsin electorally without Bright Lou, Milwaukee, and Wisconsin. Said casual election expert. Plus, Iowa's Republican voter registration network towards Democrats. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like a something to move the market. Like maybe someone put out this poll to get a better number on Trump. Like if you like Trump, this is a good number to get. Minus 127 is pretty good. Like I said, I think the goal is to get both as underdogs, but Trump 127 seems like a good number, especially given that he was minus 170 2 days ago. John says, is ballsy of her to release that poll given her reputation? Most polling companies have just heard her to popular opinion. Well, if she gets this wrong, what's going to happen? Like the next election, she can say, "Oh, we've been wrong only once. We have a near perfect record." So I don't know. I don't know. It could be someone just screwing with us. I find it hard to believe Iowa's going to go to the Democrats. I think that's crazy, but I don't know. Maybe they have some crazy thing lined up. Like crazy shadow campaign. I don't know, but I would be surprised though. Someone says, need help at flex. Sutton, McConkey, or Shakir. I have a partner in this league and we can't agree. Is this PPR or standard? Let's just say PPR. In PPR, I'll give you both. In regular, I have Sutton 12, PPR 16. McConkey, I have 7 and 11, 7 and 13. And then Shakir, I have at 6 and 12. So in that order, actually would go in the order that you presented: Sutton, McConkey, and Shakir. Like no matter what, if it's standard or PPR. I love Sutton's matchup against the Ravens. They can't defend the pass at all. And he just had a 100-yard game. I think he could have another good game. McConkey against the Browns secondary, which will have Denzel Ward, doesn't seem great. Now, McConkey just had an awesome game, but remember, I was against the Saints who can't stop receivers. That's why I love Jalen Coker so much this week. And then Shakir should be good, but like the Buffalo was going to have such a big lead in that game. Like they're going to just run out the clock in the second half. That's my worry with Shakir. So that's the order in which I would go. Soccer, gymnastics, that's communist talk. Yeah, it definitely is communist talk. But my wife said, gymnastics is going to, tire him out and make him more, flexible and stuff. That's true. Like he's just going to tumble around like, some kid. But I do like him swimming. The problem with swimming though right now is they just jammed a lot more kids in his class. Like he used to be just himself or someone else. It used to be 1 or 2 kids in his class. Now they're 4. And so he doesn't get as much attention, which is a little frustrating. And the stupid part about the swimming thing is I could just teach him myself. I swam at a high level. I just do what they do. It's kind of silly because I'm almost confident I could swim faster than all the coaches there. Even at 42, well, definitely if I was their age right now, but even at 42, I think I could outswim them. But so it's funny. It's almost not that I was on a professional level or anything, but it'll be almost like an NBA player, a very low level NBA player, but still NBA player. Having his kids taught by someone else and play basketball who never played in the NBA. It'd be like that. Again, I was never that high level, but I was sort of high level, but not that high level. But yeah, so I just think that's funny. It's I could just teach my son all this stuff. I just the problem is I just don't know if he would listen to me, because he's at this rebellious stage right now. All right, a guy can identify as a woman and outswim the girls if you're no good. Yes, it's true. He could go out to women's swimming if he wants to, which I don't know. But he did something funny tonight. I'll share this with you. So I was at my parents' house, and so they have two dogs, and so my son picks up a dog toy. He starts playing with it during dinner because he gets so distracted, and so my mom is like, Conrad, don't play with that dog toy, and like he wouldn't listen. She's like, Conrad, you're not listening. Don't play with that dog toy. And so Conrad, my son, gives the dog toy to his sister who's sitting in a booster seat. And so she starts playing. She's one, so she starts playing with it. And so he points to her, and it's like that guy's not listening. That guy's not listening. So he like tried to get her in trouble. Thought that was pretty hilarious. John says, I like the new guy on Tuesdays. Forget his name. Evan Daniel. Yeah, he's awesome. Evan's he is a professional bettor. Like the amount of money he has going through all the accounts that he has is insane. he's read me the number of like bets he's made and stuff, and I've seen screenshots, so it's definitely legit. Like it's crazy how much money he bets. Yeah, he's fantastic. I love Evan. I love having him on the show. I hope it's gonna be permanent, but he seems to like doing it, so I'm excited for it. Too bad Kenny can't get unleashed. I know. So Kenny and I were talking after the show, and he pointed out some YouTube channels, and he's like, Walt, we should have done a political show. He's like, we could get so much more traffic. I'm like, Kenny, like you got in trouble for like Kenny got in trouble. We had to actually delete an episode here. It was actually the live fantasy draft that we did because Body Burner, who was on the show at the same time, he called people retard. And so Kenny he's starting a university, you know, like he like someone on his board was like, Kenny, like you can do these shows, but just like don't be on a show where people are calling others retards and stuff. And Kenny's like, because the guy's like, yeah, some donor might pull their money, you know? And Kenny's like, yeah, you're right. So Kenny asked me to delete that episode. I deleted it. So yeah, Kenny Unleashed would be fantastic. He just, given his profession, like his area of profession, he just can't, unfortunately. Note to Trump: when you ban soccer and curling, throw in gymnastics too, at least for men. Women gymnastics you can certainly keep. Yeah, I agree. Men should not be doing gymnastics. I agree with that. That's just like the rings. The rings I think are different because that actually requires like some very impressive strength. I think that's like the only thing I would keep for men gymnastics, but that's it. What's your favorite game? Broncos plus whatever 8.5, 9.5, whatever it is right now. I think they could win that one outright. Sports Interaction, Canadian betting site, has U.S. election betting. Trump's odds are 1.72, Harris's are 2.5. Okay, interesting. Shakir maybe, Kehu and Holland both out for the Dolphins. Yeah, maybe. It's a good matchup. I just think the Bills are going to be so far ahead in the second half. I went to morning. If you want to bet Trump, once this poll trickles to all his bettors, it's true. Yeah, there's no rush to bet it. You're right. The Iowa poll claims that the top two issues of voters in Iowa is democracy and abortion. Yeah. So yeah, who are they polling here? Like, is it the University of Iowa students? Like no one cares. Like we're not even, the U.S. is not even a democracy. And like who are the cat ladies who want to kill the babies that they're never going to have anyway? Like, so stupid. Yeah, I don't buy it. Like if that's who they're talking to, just like Iowa and Iowa State students, like then of course it's gonna be Harris plus 3. If they're actually talking to like real people, then it's gonna be Trump plus 7 or whatever it should be. I like Evan. Yeah, Evan's great. I could see Mo Alley-Cox getting touchdown. I thought about that. I like it. Minnesota is not good against tight ends, and Cashman's out. I do like that. I wanted to actually look at Mo Alley-Cox receiving yards, but they didn't have it. FanDuel didn't have it, so I second your motion. Yeah, everyone seems to like Evan. Like, not. It's funny. There's actually this one emailer who emails me about every co-host I've ever had, and I'm gonna say this is I appreciate it. Like, if you're listening, like, thanks. Like, I definitely love the feedback, but like, and I'm not saying this to make fun of him. I'm just saying like this guy is critical of like every co-host I've ever had on. Everyone. He's like, yeah, this guy talks too much. This guy talks over you. This guy doesn't say enough. This guy says nothing interesting. Like every co-host, like no matter who, like even Jacob, even Tom, like this guy didn't like anyone, no one. And then like we finally have Evan on, and then he's like, that guy's okay. That's supposed to be the best compliment ever. This guy's okay. I'm like, wow, this guy trashes everyone, like no matter who, and everyone, and like not one person he's ever liked, and he's like, Evan's okay, like that means he's incredible. Dale says this is awesome. I couldn't get through until tonight. You guys rock. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Dale. Unfortunately, the show's almost over here. So, I mean, we have nothing much to talk about left, unless you guys want to keep asking me questions. But no one beats Tommy. I expect a Mega Man episode with him this summer. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Tom has been my friend since actually it's been 20 years since 04. He lived right next door to me at Penn State. Yeah, Tom's great. Like I love his live streams. I loved it more when it was Mario. I can't get into the soccer race car thing that he plays. Like I know he has fun doing it, but it's just not enjoyable for me. I don't know. Like I still watch it. I'll still chime in. Like if I see him streaming. I just wish he went back to like Mario or like even like Mega Man would be awesome. I'd love to see him like try like a no-hit Mega Man 2 run, which would be so difficult with the turrets and Wily 4. Or like a blaster cannon Oli run or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. I love Mega Man games so much. Dale Maddox, hit subscribe and you'll get the automatic notification. Yeah, subscribe. There's like a bell too or something. Yeah, that'll definitely help. Mike, thanks for the heads up there. John says, I don't know, ignoring this poll would be intellectually dishonest. It's like convincing yourself Tomlin will finish under 500 because you ate the Steelers. So, yeah, the problem is like it just seems like so out of like the realm of like everything we've seen. It's like the only thing that's gone against Trump, and like who brought that up? It was yeah. So Slew says the two issues are democracy and abortion. It sounds like they interviewed no one but Democrats, and like that could happen. And like, how many people did these people like poll? I think it's so difficult to interview or poll Republicans because they don't answer. Like they're so dishonest about this stuff. I get poll calls all the time. I ignore them. I get texts saying, "Who are you voting for?" Type A for Harris, B for Trump, C for other. I never answer it. I don't trust these people. I don't want these people to know my information. And I think that and I'm not even Republican. I'm libertarian. I don't trust these people at all. I don't want anyone to know my info. Even though no, I'm telling you guys. I don't want the pollsters to know my info. I did take one poll once. This is like 8 years ago. And they asked me a question, which is like this turned me off of polls altogether. This guy is like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not concerned, 10 being very concerned. How concerned are you on immigration? And I'm like, do you mean legal immigration or illegal immigration? And he's like, I don't know. It just says immigration. I'm like, there's a big difference here. Like, can you clarify or can you ask your manager? And he's like, no. He's like, can you? He's like, can you answer a question? I'm like, dude, I can't. I was like, let me skip this question because I can't answer it. Like, it's completely different. I'm 10 on legal immigration. Like, our whole country's founded on it. I'm 1 on illegal immigration, but I can't. Maybe you want to average it to 5. I don't know. I was like, you can't ask that question. It's so dishonest. And so like that turned me off polls. Like that's why I just won't answer these polls anymore. Let's see. Kenny sounds like if you put Ben Shapiro at Vest for that's a good call. Yeah, Kenny would be awesome on the political show. But I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like your board members or donors would like it too much. But I would love to see Kenny do a political show. Is Wolf still stuck on the 70s on X? It's a good question. I haven't looked in a while. Dave Wolf, 88. Let's see. He has 80, so he's gotten out of the 70s. He's at 80. He's 200. He's 200. He's 20 away. Where do you get 200 from? He's 20 away from having to post political stuff, or anything really. Dave is like a wild guy. He'll say some stuff that's out there, and like he doesn't care about like pissing off anyone. Like he's like the opposite of Kenny. Well, they'll have the same like beliefs, but like Kenny can't share anything, whereas like Dave will like piss everyone off just to do it, and like he just doesn't care. Like he's we used to hang out in like this group of friends, and like he pissed off all of them like all the time, and so yeah, they stopped inviting him when he broke up with this. He dated this girl in our friend group, and like when they broke up, they stopped inviting him out because he angered them too much. And he's like, I don't care, I don't like these people anyway. He's so funny. But yeah, he needs to be unleashed on Twitter. He's 20 away, not 200, the 20 away. John Sanders is falling for the commie propaganda. I don't know. I mean, John's right about this poll having great history, but it sounds like they've been compromised. Like I said, what if this is new DEI people working for them? Like it may not be the same people, and if these DEI losers are only talking to college students, then this poll is illegitimate. Like I don't like just because something has worked so much in the past doesn't mean it will keep working if it's like different people at this company or something. So I don't know. Like stuff may have changed. A lot of people have retired recently. Like COVID forced people out, and like these Zoomers, these DI Zoomers, have taken their place, and so we're not getting as good production. Like there's a managerial problem in America right now. A lot of the boomers and Gen Xers retired after COVID, and a lot of young people took over, and they're not ready to manage stuff. So this could be sort of that issue, I think, because if Slew hadn't posted that thing, I would have been like, okay, maybe we're missing something here. But the fact that Slew said that their number one issue is democracy, which like America's not even the democracy, that tells me this is dumb college kids answering this poll. And maybe Republicans just don't want to answer any polls these days, which like I think is true. Kenny told me he's friends with with someone who takes polls, and this guy told him that Republicans are so difficult to reach. And I'm like, yeah, of course, because they don't trust anyone, because like all they do is lie. And so, yeah, maybe they can't reach any Republicans, or maybe this is DI losers talking to college kids. Like that's what I'm thinking here. Always do the Nielsen ratings polls. They send you cash. Do they really? I didn't know that. So yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you guys for joining me. I made it through okay, given that I'm sick. I don't know if you can tell I'm a little congested here. It feels like every week. It was last year. Last year, like my son just started daycare, and I picked up anything and everything from my son starting at daycare. And it's been better this year, but he brought something home, and then my daughter got sick, and then now my wife has it worse than I do. I feel like out of the 4 people in my family, I've had it the best. I'm only a little congested, whereas like my wife, like she couldn't even sleep last night. She was coughing so much. And my son, my daughter, they weren't like that bad, but they needed to take like Tylenol and stuff. John says it's the same lady in charge and Seltzer. Democrats laughed at her in 2016 when she had Trump winning. Yeah, but okay, I guess she's in charge, but like she's not administering all the polls herself. Like she has people working for her. Like what if these new workers who are young, like Gen Z people who are just not competent. Maybe the people she had working for her retired. Like maybe that's not true. I don't know. But like what Sue said is just so vital here, where the people who were asked claim to care about democracy and abortion, like that. Those are just Democrats. Like independents and Republicans care about the economy, number 1, and border security, number 2. Like if the 2 things they care about the most were border security and the economy, and they still had Harris +3, then I would be worried. But the fact that they're talking about democracy and abortion, and they're only Harris +3, I actually think that's bullish for Trump, because if the idiots answering this poll care about abortion and democracy the most, like it should be Harris plus way more than 3. But the fact that it's only Harris +3, I think this says a lot. So I don't know. I'm not, given what Sue said, I'm not worried at all here. She works solo. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she's talking to the wrong people. Maybe she can't reach Republicans. Um, how she work so? How she like do all the polling? That seems crazy. Um, but no. Anyway, I do think that she might be not reaching the Republicans. And like what Kenny said is true. Maybe she has the same issue where she can't reach Republicans. And like again, it's you can't any poll that says they care about the democracy and baby killing like that, like you can't. I don't think you can trust because we know for a fact that nationally it's the economy and it's the border security, one and two. And I don't even think democracy and abortions are three. Um, I forget what. Maybe we could pull it up. I don't know. Gallup biggest issue, most important problems. Let's see. Maybe I can pull it up here. Let's see. So here it is. Okay. So most important problem. This is what you need to watch. This has been 100% accuracy. America's most important problem, and then who you trust to fix it. So economic problems, economy in general is. Let's look at October 24th. So it's actually going up. So it's gone from 17 to 21. So 21% right here, economy in general. And if you look at non-economic, immigration's at 21%. So like they're tied for first. And I don't think they say, who do you trust the most to handle this? Republicans 46%. I don't know how people could trust Democrats to handle the economy and immigration. That seems these people are idiots, man. Like, how do you trust the Democrats to handle the economy and immigration when they failed at it so miserably for 4 years? That's so stupid. Anyway, so it's plus 5 on September 3rd, and it was plus 8 on September 1st. Oh no, that's last year. Never mind. Yeah, so it's plus 5 right now. And so yeah, let's look. So what's number 3? 17% says the government / poor leadership. Well, that's anti-democrat. So what's number 4? High cost of living, inflation. That's anti-democrat. Where is abortion? Abortion is 4% of non-economic problems. So that's 4%. Like people, like normal people don't care about this stuff. It's just like these wacko cat ladies. Like maybe this seltzer lady just only talked to cat ladies or something. So we have abortion. What about democracy? I don't know if that's the election reform, democracy is 3%. Like I don't see how you can take this poll legitimately, despite what it's shown in the past. Like something has changed here, because normal people don't care about this stuff. Like it's the crazy cat lady / blue anon people who care about abortion and democracy. Like, and yeah, they do have a voting sect in this country, but it's not a majority. So anyway, I will not read too much in this poll. Let's see, a lot of money floating around. Everyone's the price. It's true. And they just in time to flood the Sunday morning shows the funny poll. Yeah, this lady could be compromised. Maybe what's her name? Is her name Ann Seltzer? I wonder how old she is. Maybe she's how old is she? Let's see. So she's 68. Maybe this is her last go around, and she's just taking the money and going. Like someone may have paid her to put out fake information to move the market, and so she's just taking a last payday and just calling it quits. So that could be it too. Number 3 in Iowa's corn. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like corn? I actually don't like corn on the cob. It's just I hate getting stuff in my teeth. I like corn from a can or something, or like microwave corn. But like corn on the cob, I hate I just have a phobia of getting stuff in between my teeth. It just bothers me so much. Corn and combines. There's more election propaganda than there's internet propaganda on Ukraine war. It's absolutely true. And make sure you get your money laundering T-shirt here. And those, by the way, guys who missed it, we have "Make Garbage Great Again" T-shirts. These are the new T-shirts I made. Only $17.76. How about this price? I didn't even plan that. That's awesome. So, so you can get this. Biden called half of Americans garbage. So you can make garbage great again. let's see. It's hard not to use Chase Brown DFS this week. I'm not using Chase Brown at all. I think he's my number one fade. Um, and I said it earlier, like they're not going to give him a lot of carries. Like they play on Thursday, and Chase Brown's not that good anyway. Like what are we doing here with Chase Brown? Like the Bengals can't block, and Chase Brown's not that good. Like he runs like a shot out of a cannon. Yeah, he could have a decent game, but like I feel like the odds of him having a good game are so slim compared to the other guys. Like there's so many good running backs on the slate. Like there's so many good ones. Like going down the list. By the way, Julius Chestnut 4K like tomorrow if Pollard's out. We have Saquon Barkley should have an awesome game. Kyron Williams could be a great play. Kamara seems like a good play. Devon Achane, love him at 6,700. James Cook, great, 7,200. Look what he did to Miami last time. Jahmyr Gibbs should do great. Bijan Robinson's awesome. Not so much Kenneth Walker, Dobbins. Josh Jacobs could be okay if he plays. But then there's like Montgomery could even be decent, 6,500. Swift against Arizona, it's a good matchup. I don't love Swift, but still. Brian Robinson, great matchup against the Giants. What's this there? Tyrone Tracy, only 5,500. He's clear concussion protocol. He's a great play. I can't get the Chase Brown at all. I think he's not even my top 15 this week. And he's the highest owned running back on the slate. I think that's a huge fade for me. Instead of GameStop, let's switch to corn futures next year. Dude, the options are insane for GameStop right now. The premiums are so high. It's a great week to sell premiums for GameStop. It's like what I've been doing. It's like a second income for me. Just sell cover calls or cash secure puts. It's printing money. It's insane. I'll say to tell you this. I manage my accounts on E-Trade for my son and my daughter. So my daughter started with $2,500 in her account. Or actually, it's like $2,550. This is all birthday money / just like birth money. You know, she already had her first birthday. Plus, I gave her some money too. So like she had $2,550 to start. Right. I started trading for her at the end of August. With the $2,550. So the only thing I bought was GameStop shares, and the GameStop shares she bought were for I think like I would say like $21.70 a share or something. I think. No, sorry, they're $22.15 a share. $22.15 a share. Actually, I could look it up for sure. I'm gonna tell you guys because like this is pretty remarkable. This shows how good these cover calls are. So she had like 130 shares or something, or she has 130 shares of GameStop at an average price of let's see, 22.13. Okay, so 130 shares of GameStop at 22.13. Right, the price for GameStop right now is 22.34. So it's like moved a tiny bit. So on 130 shares times let's see, how much did it move? 21 cents. It should be that she made 20, well, not made, but her account's up $27, right? So with her 130 shares, I've been selling a cover call each week, every single week. I buy it back on Friday and then sell next week's cover call. Her account right now is worth $29.22. So again, she started at $25.50. She has made $372 in 2 months, which is 14.5% in 2 months. 14.5%. So if you take times 6 for the whole year, that's 87.5% returns. So that's how good these cover calls is. I can't tell you guys enough that selling cover calls and cash secure puts, like you can almost double your money. Like with her, like you can almost double your money every single year. And you think that's bad? Like do it. Pull out your calculator and like enter in $2,500 and see what happens in 18 years if you double your money every year. No, obviously you have to pay taxes, but still, these selling cover calls is the best. I think the best way to make money in the stock market, unless you have, just great info or even inside info that you shouldn't, you shouldn't go crazy with that. But still, like that is the best way, and like plus like the GameStop play we had in 2020, that was amazing. But these cover calls have like almost no risk compared to regular stocks. Like it's so much safer, and there's such great upside with it too. Like it making 87% annually is insane. So yeah, I can't recommend that enough. Selling cover calls and cash secure puts. It's called the wheel strategy. But yeah, try to sell these cover calls. Like that's what I do all the time. I hope you're right. I hope I'm right too. Yeah. So Trump plus 9 Iowa in 2020. Say he's got redder since. Come on, man. Yeah, I can't see. I can't see it going Harris. I really can't. The Bungles have run black like a bunch of girls. That's true. A bunch of cat ladies who want abortions. Yes, that's what they block like. Yeah. So, all right, guys. I said that was it like 20 minutes ago, but we've gone on here. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoy your extra hour. I don't know what you guys would do. Steelers Dream Deadline Edition. Well, I don't know if you heard that it was gonna be Christian Kirk, but they couldn't trade for him because he got hurt. So they need a receiver, right? Who could they trade? Who could be a receiver on the move? Maybe I was going to say DeAndre Hopkins got traded. Amari Cooper got traded too. It felt like every receiver I thought who could be moved has been moved. I don't know. Let me see here. Let me pull my team. So Adam Thielen, they're getting desperate. Okay, I can see that. I mean, he's gonna be back soon. I could definitely see that happening. Who else? Just like running through the teams here. Yeah, I think that Adam Thielen's pretty good. Let's see, they're too banged up. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty rough right now. I don't see anyone I don't see like an obvious choice anymore. Maybe Darius Slayton. I don't know. It's not like I wouldn't call that a dream addition though. You know. Yeah, it's like these options are so limited. Tyler Lockett, if like the Seahawks lose a couple or they lose this week, maybe they want to trade him. And like I guess that'd be okay for Wilson's deep balls, but I don't know. It's pretty rough. Yeah, there's really no like Godwin got hurt, we can't trade for him. So yeah, Wandale's okay. Yeah, maybe I think they're more likely to move Slayton, but Wandale makes sense too. Mike Williams. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Again, I don't know if I call them a dream edition, but yeah, it's like maybe that's the best they can do. And then good night, Walt. Enjoy the extra hour. Good night, guys. I hope you enjoy the extra hour too. Start Leggett or Coker. I would start Coker because the slot receiver thing against the Saints is a real thing. Saw McConkey last week. Saw Juju Smith-Schuster went nuts against the Saints. Like, tell me Coker can't. Like, I don't care if Bryce Young's starting. I want to play Coker. Walt, are you on the Lions? Yes, a couple units on the Lions. I'm concerned about the rain, but Jordan Love's playing hurt. The last time he did that against the Vikings, the Packers got blown out until garbage time. So yes, I am on the Lions for sure. And let's see, Lockett and Russell Wilson, yeah, sure, pass together makes a lot of sense. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be an okay fit. Lockett's past his prime, but maybe he'll have one last hurrah or something. The Seahawks have Jackson Smith and Jigba, so they don't need him for the future. So, yeah, I think that would be a good fit. I think that makes the most sense. Or Mike Williams would. All right, guys. Okay. Later down the weeks, do I stash Thielen or Coker? I like Coker. I think he's like a tall guy. He could be like an end zone threat. Like I do like him. Thielen's like pretty washed up, but now that Deontay Johnson's gone, I think Thielen could do well in certain matchups. It's just so matchup dependent. And like I wonder if when Thielen comes back, I assume they're going to put him in the slot and move Cooker outside. And so I would rather have a slot receiver. So I guess Thielen, but it's not like I want to stash him. I don't think you need to stash these receivers. Like I'd rather stash like a running back who could be a starter or something like a Ray Davis. I'm sure Ray Davis is on the roster, but like Blake Corum or just running through all the teams here. Tyler Algier goes without saying. Even like Justice Hill, I think I'd rather stash him. Ray Davis, certainly him. Roshan Johnson, another one. Like he's already getting goal line carries. He should be rostered on every league. If DeAndre Swift goes down, he gets injured a lot. Like Roschon Johnson could be a great play. So no one for Denver really. I guess maybe Audric Estime, but just don't know. Emmanuel Wilson for Green Bay, like he's a great stash because if Jacobs gets hurt, then Wilson is going to get most of the workload. Indianapolis, you have Tyler Goodson. I guess you could stash him. I'd rather stash him over these receivers. Jacksonville, no one in Jacksonville because Big is starting now. Let's see. The Rams with Blake Corum. I think I mentioned him. Chargers with Kamani Vidal. I would rather stash him. Miami, Jalen Wright. Raheem Mostert could be traded. So Jalen Wright would be a great stash. If that happens, great stash. Even still, I think he'd still be a decent stash. The Saints with Jamal Williams, I guess, is not that exciting, but I'd rather have him than these receivers just because if Kamara goes down, you're not going to have to beat anyone to the waiver wire. If people drop Devin Singletary, I would definitely go him. With the Eagles, I like Jordan Shipley more so than Kenneth Gainwell. Let's see here. Steelers, no. I mean, I assume Jalen Warren's rostered. Charbonnet for Seattle is another one. San Francisco, Isaac Guerrero is another one. I guess that's it. So yeah, just you want to get ahead of these running back injuries because if a running back is, I meant when I say Jordan Shipley, I said Will Shipley. I meant Will Shipley. Anyway, you want to get ahead of these running back injuries, especially in a fab league. If Kyron Williams gets hurt, right? Everyone's going to pay so much for Blake Corum. What if you have him already? Then no one can get him, So I think that's the strategy. I like to keep one or two of these running backs on my roster, just on the off chance that they'll get hurt. And it's worked in the past for me. I drafted Jordan Mason in the last round of most of my drafts this year, just because I thought, what if McCaffrey just can't play? And then ended up Jordan Mason has carried some of my teams here. So you definitely want to keep these backup running backs on your roster. Lockett and Pickens together in the Steelers, there could be some lock picking. I like that. The lock pick offense. There you go. That's very good. Thank goodness I don't live in a rat infested city. There's so many people that were so pissed about that. It was so funny. Torrey Smith is one of the dumbest people out there, and he's oh, what? I don't understand the electoral college. It's well, if you want the five biggest rat infested cities to decide everything, then sure, that makes a lot of sense. And he got pissed. He quote tweeted me. I actually just saw it. I saw it too late. He was not going to respond. But yeah, so many people are pissed off, and these people are such idiots. Most of them are oh, America's a democracy. No, it's not. It's not a democracy because it's a constitutional republic. You just don't understand the system. It's kind of crazy. These idiots have the same voting power as a hardworking dad of 5 who slaves away, works 60 hours a week to feed his family. These idiots have the same voting power as him. It just doesn't make any sense. So, all right, thank you, bro. Yeah, well, good luck to you, Jordan. Thanks for joining the show. Cowboys line didn't move with the Zeke news. Now, hard to believe, right? I can't believe it. Why find a way to fade the Eagles? Strong 3-0 last week. Most sacks, no turnovers, all healthy. Home game, Kelly Green, everything clicking. How's this a fade? I'm not fading the Eagles. I'm on the Eagles. I'm on the Eagles for. I think. Am I in the Eagles for 2 units? I can't remember. Let me see. No, it says 0 units. I might. So my thing was, if Brian Thomas is out, I'm definitely going to bet the Eagles, but I still might bet the Eagles. My only concern is that they might look ahead to Dallas, but looking at their schedule, I think the look ahead will be next week, despite playing against Dallas, because they have Washington on Thursday night after week 11. So no, I like the Eagles this week. I think I picked Jacksonville early in the week, but I changed my mind. So yeah, I'm on the Eagles. So yeah, absolutely. So all right, guys. For the third time, I'm going to sign off. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Imagine if you can move on, yeah. Well, you used to. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description of the merch store. You could get that Make Garbage Great Again shirt. I love the Muppet that we have on there. It's pretty cool. It has Trump's hair under that red hat. So and thanks especially to John Sanders for the 412 super chat and for the conversation about the IO poll. It's interesting. That's reset clocks. Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Good luck with all your bets tomorrow, or I guess later today. Hopefully we have a great week 9. Zeke has to be cut. Yeah, maybe. I think so. Now that they've down cooked. Yeah. All right. Great. Have a great week 9. Hopefully we have nothing but positives to talk about week 10 when we come on Tuesday. We're going to be live Tuesday earlier for the election. And then Evan and I are going to go over the picks as usual on Tuesday. So it's going to be a longer episode on Tuesday. So, we're going to have Kenny on. We're going to have Body Burner on, I think. We're going to have the Omnifero on, I think. I'll send out some other invites. We'll see. Maybe we'll get something, some crazy people on too. So maybe I'll try to send an invite to Butters and Nuggets too. So we'll see if they come on. So it'll be a fun episode, I think. So, well, hopefully Tuesday goes well. So, I did change it. Yeah, I did change it. So, all right, guys, have a good night, and I will talk to you later.